Welcome back to Community BattleCast Primetime. I'm your host, Doomtanker, and in this episode we've got another awesome interview for you guys, and of course, all your news, mods, and fan art. So let's do this. So what's so BioWare about Generals 2? That's the question that Kotaku asked the head guys over at BioWare taking over the franchise. You can head on over to Kotaku's website and read the full article now. Since there really hasn't been too much news on Generals 2 so far, we were happy that they at least posted an update on their Facebook saying, "Sorry for the delay on the new Generals 2 footage, but our developer team is still crunching toward a milestone and it's impossible to get anything cool out anytime soon. But I'm still asking every week till I have something new for you guys. We had to wait a long time for a new quality CNC RTS, and those weeks are something to get over, even though it's hard. Keep you posted." We will keep you guys posted, and just in case anything new does pop up from this title. German site Game Reactor has posted an interview with the team working on Tiberium Alliance. You can watch the full in-English interview on their YouTube channel. Epic's UTK Showcase has spotlighted Renegade X as another example of how powerful and easy to use tools of the Unreal Engine 3 toolset enable small developers to make their visions a reality. If you haven't played Renegade X yet, why not at this point? You need to do now, soldier. CNC Saga has showcased an amazing project from a community member named Master Killer, who's building miniature scale structures in a fully destroyed landscape infected with Tiberium. This is amazing stuff. You can check out the two newest photos on CNC Saga's website and see more of the Tiberium city on the Saga Arts Facebook page. Lube Hell Productions has posted an update on the faulty Desura installation of A Path Beyond, saying, "This Desura installation does not appear to properly configure dependency packages for DirectX 9 or Microsoft VC redistribution or registry information. Our typical standalone .exec installer does this all for you automatically, so most people don't really take note of it happening. So if you try to install it from Desura, take heed. Go get the actual installer from their official website now." And now we got something special for you guys. We got another cool interview for you guys. It's the man, the myth, the legend himself, APOC, or as he's now known over at THQ Tiny Tank. We wanted to find out what our former community manager has been up to since he left EA and moved over to THQ, working as the community manager for the UFC and WWE franchises.
Alright, well, first off, good morning, Aaron, and happy birthday.
Thank you guys, I appreciate that, and good morning to you guys.
What have you been up to?
That's a very loaded, simple question. What have I been up to? Well, I think you guys know when I left EA almost 2 years ago, went over to THQ, great company. I'm basically the same role I was on Command & Conquer, but I'm working on all the WWE, Men in Tights, and UFC Cage Animals. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm the global community manager for all the UFC and WWE video games that we make here at THQ. It's been great, you know, it's very similar. It's very similar to the Command & Conquer community. It's a very passionate community on both sides, and basically what I've been doing the last year and a half.
So what do you think of Community BattleCast Primetime?
I think it's awesome what you guys are doing. I mean, quite frankly, it kind of came out of nowhere to me. I mean, I feel like I was on YouTube one day and suddenly I saw that you guys were putting this out. And to be honest with you, I mean, it took, you know, when we made BattleCast Primetime, you know, me and Dave Silverman and Raj and all the guys, I mean, it was a full-on production. We had a full team, editing studio, you know, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it was like walking onto the set of SportsCenter. It would take us a good few weeks to really put together an episode with all the effects and production value and filming and editing and everything. And then I watched Community BattleCast Primetime, and you guys are like doing this in your sleep, and you're putting these episodes out with a tenth of the production value that we had, or resources I should say, and you guys are doing a killer job. I mean, it's really, really cool. Watching your Community BattleCast Primetime reminds me a lot of watching the BattleCast 10. It feels kind of like a highlight replay. I really like the way you guys are doing it. I think your graphics are great, and the content that you're highlighting. I mean, honestly, if I want to know what's going on with the Command & Conquer community, I go watch Community BattleCast Primetime.
What are your thoughts on Generals 2 being the next CNC?
Generals 2 has always been the next CNC, probably since Generals 1 came out, and for many reasons it's always gotten pushed back in favor of the Tiberium universe or the Red Alert universe. And then I've seen many design documents and many secret projects that were in some part always known as Generals 2, and so it's great that it's finally here. I know it's the one part of the universe that the Command & Conquer community has been asking for more than anything. I think, you know, in large part after we came out with Command & Conquer 3, I think people were really hoping that Generals 2 would be next. You know, people certainly weren't disappointed that it was Red Alert 3, but I do think that Generals 2 has always been the Command & Conquer game that everybody wants, you know, after Command & Conquer 3. The fact that they're doing it with BioWare is really unique to me. I mean, I had, you know, when I was at EA and we were working on this early on before I left, never had any insight that, you know, it was going to end up like this. And I think that's great for the community because those guys know how to tell a story. And if you're reading all the press articles, you can see that it's not going to be some cheesy, corny kind of thing. It's going to be probably a serious tone, you know, in the BioWare flavor. So I'm really stoked for the community. You know, if there's one thing that's, you know, certain about the Generals community, it's easily the most competitive of all the Command & Conquer universes. It's always the one that has the most competitions, the most tournaments. So I think for that reason, Generals 2 is the best way to go.
Is there anything you've been working on that you'd like to share with the CNC community?
I mean, I'm always working on my body. Aside from that and my soccer skills and my video game skills, you know, I think, you know, I just want to let the community know that, you know, in my 6.5, 7 years with the Command & Conquer community, I mean, I learned so much in what it takes to be a community manager, and I've applied that to what I'm doing with the WWE and the UFC community, and I really just have the Command & Conquer community to thank for that. That's allowed me to grow and become, you know, who I am in the video game industry today. So, you know, I would encourage the Command & Conquer community to head over to facebook.com/WWE Games or /UFC Undisputed, or follow me at THQ_tank, and, you know, just kind of see the cool things that we're doing, you know, with both of those games. I mean, there's nothing specific that I would call out. I would just say that the WWE and UFC universes are incredible brands to work with, and we're making some amazing games, and you guys should check us out.
Alright, I have one last question for you. Do you have any advice for us here running the show?
Well, I think we'd like to see your pretty little faces on the camera once in a while. I think that would be cool. I think it's always good to put a face to the name, a face to the voice, so that'd be one thing if you guys can work on that. I would encourage you guys to do more interviews with people in the community and just keep showcasing all the great things that the community is doing. I think that's one of the main things that kept BattleCast Primetime so successful, is that it's really a fan spotlight. I mean, everything that we did on the show was always about highlighting what the fans were doing, whether it's match replays or the latest mods, and I think you guys are doing a great job at that, and I would just encourage you guys to do more of it. Aside from that, I mean, I would say any kind of forceful entry you guys can do to get into EALA and find out what's going on with Generals 2. You know, work your guys way into the building. I can tell you about all the secret entrances and the back doors and everything. And I might have a few design docs I can slip your way. No, I'm just kidding. I would encourage you guys to you know, keep working with the community manager of Command & Conquer, and don't use torture, but get whatever information you can.
Since you're a big gamer like the rest of us, what have you been playing lately?
Oh, I hate that question. What am I playing right now? Well, of course, I'm playing UFC Undisputed 3, which we just released on Valentine's Day. It's an awesome game. If you guys are UFC fans, you should definitely play it. I'm debating... Well, I recently beat Uncharted 3, which is up amongst my top 5 favorite games of all time. I have to admit, I've kind of fallen away from, you know, my PC roots, and I've really just kind of fallen back to, you know, console gamer. I was always a console gamer, even though I was always a hardcore Command & Conquer fan. I'm debating on if I should play Alan Wake or L.A. Noire next. You guys have a recommendation?
I haven't played Alan Wake, but L.A. Noire is pretty good. It's a little slow. It's kind of reminiscent of like adventure games. It's still a pretty intriguing and very story-driven game.
Well, it's definitely what I like in a game, so I'll have to consider that one.
And now it's time for the mod spotlight. We got another batch of mods coming your way, so let's dive right in. Blue Hell Productions has taken over the Tiberium Sun Reborn project and has posted an update on the state of the project. You can read the full article on our website. Version 1.71 of Tiberium Wars Advanced has been released, featuring some fixes to problems from the beta they released not too long ago. Another one of my personal favorite Tib War mods. If you haven't tried this one, it's a must. Mental Omega, an almost perfect mod for Yuri's Revenge, has posted an update. 3.0 is hopefully coming soon and will feature 9 sub-factions. This is a pretty awesome mod for a classic title in the series. The public beta 0.01 for CNC Fallout has been released. The team is also looking for voice actors to do audio for the game. If you want to give this mod a try, or you want to apply for a voice acting job, then their mod database page is definitely worth a look. Beta patch 1.1 for Generals Generation X has been released. Adding 3 new X Generals to the roster makes this mod definitely worth a look. You can snatch it up on their official page now.
I'm Sybert, it's the BattleCast 5, and we're kicking it in the original Generals for this first replay, showing Scotland D as the pink GLA on the top and Funky Style as the yellow Chinese on the bottom of Tournament Desert. Funky drives up the middle with Gatling tanks and tank hunters. The initial frontal assault from Funky fails, so Funky proxies some barracks and a supply center to fund his attacks. A second wave of Gatling tanks and tank hunters fall, but a well-reinforced third wave is able to break through Scott's defenses and crush his base. Scott manages to get out of Jarman Kell as Funky drops a war factory practically in Scott's starting location. location. Funky drops more supply centers and takes every supply dock but the one that is being held by Scott. Funky's army moves in for the kill. All hope is lost, and Scott is out of the game. But wait, Jarman-Kell survived and is in the palace, eliminated all of Funky's tank hunters. The Scorpion tank pushes out the remaining Gatling tanks, and together they advance towards Funky's superior army. Jarman-Kell micro combined with some Scorpion tanks allows Scott to kick Funky out of his starting location. Funky has lost his style, and Scott has gained enough momentum and forces to win the game. Game 2 takes us to Kane's Wrath on the map Tournament Tower with Cabal as the red GDI in the bottom right side and DJ Starscream as the green Black Hand on the top left side. Standard macro-oriented openers leave the beginning of the game mostly absent of action, but as both players expand to the middle plateau, a battle begins, a battle which Cabal's micro allows him to win. Cabal's army grinds its way towards DJ's expansion, but is beat back by DJ's militant infantry. Cabal regroups with APCs and hammerheads before DJ marches up with an infantry army. DJ's army is defeated and Cabal goes on the offensive again, and this time he nearly ousts DJ's expansion, but DJ holds on by his fingernails and manages to scratch out Cabal's MCV. DJ doesn't have enough to finish the party, and is forced out. Staying with Kane's Wrath, we have Unleashed as the yellow Traveler 59 in the top right side and Insomnia as the green GDI in the bottom left side of Tournament Decision. Unleashed builds an army mostly consisting of disintegrators and gunwalkers and tries a sneaky flank attack on Insomnia, but Insomnia sees it coming and has already diverted his army to deal with the alien invasion. But what's this? A wormhole from Insomnia, and a Prodigy that grabs Insomnia's MCV and sells it off for a quick econ boost? Genius. But wait, Insomnia is no noob. He moves his APC army through the wormhole and instantly has his army inside of Unleashed space. But wait, Unleashed uses a temporal wormhole to slow down the APCs and then calls down the Overlord's wrath on them. He also invades Insomnia's base with his force of gunwalkers and disintegrators. But wait, Insomnia evacs his APC army and gets an engineer into Unleashed signal transmitter to call in the mothership. The catalyst cannon fires and Unleashed's base goes down. But wait, the chain reaction fails and Unleashed still has a warp sphere. Can he make it out? Not quite. All that waiting led to Insomnia still having an army, and Unleashed having none. Switching universes to Red Alert 3, we have Viva as the Red Soviets on the left side of Cabana Republic, and I am Jennifer on the right side playing as the Purple Empire. Both commanders start grabbing expansions and harassing each other. Tengu's managed to score a few small victories for Jennifer, but Viva is able to completely lock down an expansion of Jennifer's with only his MCV and some flak troopers. Tsunami tanks bust up the Soviet expansion and take down Viva's MCV. Twin Blades and MiGs clean up the Empire's forces and move on to Jennifer's base where they are taken out by Tengus. Both players stay home to lick their wounds and build small air armies. They both take different routes of attack and catch each other out of position. Viva splits up his forces to try and defend his base, but Jennifer's transforming robots allow them to take down Viva's build queue and destroy the MiGs. Boom, baby! Viva has a far superior economy, but only an airfield and barracks. Jennifer's economy is lacking, but a mecha bay makes up for it. The mecha bay isn't enough, and after a long series of battles, Viva emerges victorious. For our final BattleCast match, we're going to end it in a way we never have before, with a game we never have before. That's right, this fifth and final game takes us to CNC4 Tiberium Twilight to a 4v4 on the map Bone Chill Basin, with both Justin Hayes, MHZ the Lotus, and X5 Gamer as GDI on the bottom side of the map, all playing as the offense class. On the top red Nod team, we have Jim C, Chris Fireskull, A-Train 250, and Eli Liang. Eli Liang, Jim C, and A-Train 250 as offense, and Chris Fireskull as support. The Nod team quickly grabs 2 control points to GDI's 1. As a result, Team Nod gains an early lead. They supplement their lead by taking 2 more control points and nearly pushing GDI out of the middle. Lotus holds their ground long enough for GDI to make a comeback and capture 4 control points, leaving Nod with only 1. GDI surges ahead and then claims all 5 control points. Not to be outdone, the Nod team retaliates by taking 4 control points to GDI's 1 control point, as well as using the Cyborg Commando to take control of GDI vehicles. GDI and Nod continue to struggle as both teams get closer and closer to victory. GDI is only 1 point away, but no, Nod gains the difference and wins the game. GG and goodbye from the BattleCast 5.
And now it's time for some community fan art. The first one is a classic one that's been around the internet for a while now, by Ninja Moves. Peace Only Through. The next 2 amazing pieces are from Godwin FJ. The first one is called As It Dawns, and the next one is called Forging Ahead. These are some really amazing work here. This poor ranger is just in over her head in this funny piece by Skunkworks. Cleveland has taken over GDI in Kane's absence in this funny piece by Brett4311. These poor flak troopers are about to have a very bad day in this piece by Dark Emperor 00. Next is an awesome anime style RA3 Tanya by Nuclear Cookies. Up next is a wallpaper modeled and rendered by Sighnapse. Awesome work. And our final piece for this week is Street Fighting Kane. These are actual screenshots of a Street Fighter 4 mod in Shikari. You can even snatch up the mod from their DeviantArt page. Definitely looks cool. And that wraps up another episode of Community Battlecast Primetime. As always, if you have fan art, news, or anything Command & Conquer you want to share with the community, feel free to reach nodsoldiergirl at her email, nodsoldiergirl@hotmail.com. And as usual, if we've got something cool like a new interview for you guys, it might be a delay, about a month-long wait between episodes. But if we can't get anybody in, then we'll definitely stick to our bi-weekly schedule on the episodes. Stay tuned, and we'll see you guys on the battlefield.
You know, I think one thing people, maybe they forgot, but when you're a community manager, you know, yeah, we have a community that's fans of us, but quite honestly, you know, we're all fans of you guys. We can't do our job or make our games without you guys. And so it's just great that you guys are, you know, doing this role reversal and being inspired by a show that we established and continuing the legacy. I mean, it's awesome. And I feel like I'm back in APOC's corner, but I'm actually the one being interviewed.